The small hospital room was quiet, except for the sound of the old wall clock ticking. The air smelled of medicine and fear. Anna sat beside her mother-in-law's bed, holding her cold hand tightly. Mrs. Gray's breathing was weak, and the nurse had already said she didn't have much time left. Tears filled Anna's eyes, but she tried to stay strong. Her mother-in-law had always been kind to her. After Anna's husband, David, passed away 2 years ago, Mrs. Gray was the only person who supported her. She treated Anna like her own daughter. That's why Anna couldn't believe what happened next. Mrs. Gray opened her eyes slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "Anna, listen to me," she said, struggling for breath. Anna leaned closer, thinking she wanted to say something about her will, or maybe a message for her grandson, little Sam. But the words that came out froze Anna's heart. "Run." "For my son," Anna pulled back, shocked. What do you mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. But Mrs. Gray's lips only trembled, her eyes staring at something unseen. "He is not who you think," she whispered, and before Anna could ask more, her eyes closed forever. Anna sat frozen in silence. The words echoed in her head again and again. "Run from my son." She didn't understand. Mrs. Gray had only one son, David, Anna's late husband. How could she run from him? He was already dead, unless Mrs. Gray was talking about someone else. Anna felt a cold shiver down her spine. She looked around the quiet room, the flickering light above, making strange shadows on the wall. For a moment, it felt like someone was watching her. She quickly brushed the thought away. Maybe the old woman had been confused. Maybe it was the medicine. Still, the fear didn't leave her heart. That night, back home, Anna couldn't sleep. The rain outside hit the windows, and the house creaked with every gust of wind. She made herself a cup of tea and sat on the couch. Thinking about those strange words, her mother-in-law had looked terrified, not sickerfied. "Run from my son," Anna whispered to herself. But which son? David had an older brother, Michael. He lived in another city and rarely visited. He was always distant, strange, and cold. Even at the funeral, he didn't cry. He just stood there, watching Anna quietly with unreadable eyes. A sudden knock on the door broke her thoughts. She jumped, spilling her tea. It was almost midnight. Who would visit at this hour? She hesitated, heart pounding. Slowly, she walked toward the door and looked through the peephola. Michael. He was standing there in the rain, his dark coat soaked, a strange smile on his face. Anna's hands trembled. She didn't know why, but her body told her not to open the door. Still, she forced herself to unlock it halfway. "Michael, what are you doing here?" she asked softly. He smiled wider. "I came as soon as I heard about Mother," he said. "Can I come in?" Something about his voice sent a chill down her back. She nodded slowly and stepped aside. "Of course, I just didn't expect you." He walked in, his wet shoes leaving marks on the floor. His eyes scanned the house as if he were memorizing every detail. "I'll make you some tea," Anna said, trying to sound normal. But as she turned toward the kitchen, Michael spoke again, his tone lower, sharper. "You were with her when she died, weren't you?" Anna froze. "Yes, I was." He stepped closer. "Did she say anything before she died?" Anna turned around slowly. His eyes were fixed on her, dark, intense, almost threatening. For a moment she thought about lying, but then she remembered Mrs. Gray's terrified face. She whispered, "No, nothing important." Michael stared at her for a long second, and then smiled. A smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Good," he said softly. "Very good." Anna forced a weak smile in return, but her heart was pounding. Deep down, she knew something was wrong, terribly wrong. And as she watched him sip his tea later that night, his eyes never leaving hers, one thing became clear. Whatever Mrs. Gray had meant, Anna was about to find out very soon. Asterisk, the rain didn't stop that night. It kept falling hard, making the world outside blur and dark. Inside, Anna sat stiffly on the edge of the couch, watching Michael drink his tea. Every move he made felt heavy, slow, almost calculated. The silence between them grew thick. The only sound was the rain and the faint ticking of the clock on the wall. "Mother?" "She went peacefully?" Michael asked suddenly, his voice soft but strange. Anna nodded. "Yes, she wasn't in pain." He tilted his head slightly, studying her face. "Did she say anything before she went?" Her heart skipped. The same question again. She looked down at her hands and tried to sound calm. "She just said she loved us. That's all." Michael smiled, but his eyes didn't. "That sounds like her." Anna forced a small smile, pretending to relax, but inside her thoughts were racing. Why was he so interested in her last words? After a few minutes, Michael stood up and walked to the window. The rain dripped down the glass like tears. He spoke without turning around. "You know, Anna, I never got along with my mother. She always preferred David. Always said he was the good son." Anna said nothing. Michael turned around, his expression unreadable. "But you know what's funny? Even after David died, she still talked about him. As if he was here." Anna swallowed. "She missed him," she said softly. He smiled thinly. Maybe she was just pretending. His tone sent a chill down her back. Then he changed the topic suddenly. "You still live alone here?" "Yes," Anna replied quickly. "Just me and Sam." "Ah, yes." "The boy," he said, walking closer. "How old is he now?" 6. Michael's smile widened. Smart age. Kids that age, they see things adults don't. Anna didn't know what to say. His words felt strange, almost like a warning. After some time, Michael finally stood up to leave. Anna felt relief wash over her. "I'll stay at Mother's house for a few days," he said at the door. "You know, to handle her things?" Anna nodded. "Of course." But before he stepped out, he looked at her again, this time with a small smirk. "If you remember anything she said before dying, you'll tell me, won't you?" "Of course," Anna replied softly. He leaned closer. "Good, because sometimes people regret keeping secrets." And with that, he walked out into the rain, disappearing into the darkness that night. Anna locked all the doors and checked on her son. Sam, he was fast asleep, his small hands clutching his toy car. She kissed his forehead gently and whispered, "Everything's okay." But she didn't believe her own words. Unable to sleep, Anna sat at her table. Staring at the photo of Mrs. Gray and David, she whispered, "What did you mean? Why should I run from him?" Just then, her phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. It said, "You shouldn't have lied." Anna's breath caught in her throat. Her eyes darted around the room. "Who could it be, Michael?" She typed quickly, "Who is this?" No reply. Her hands shook. She deleted the message, thinking maybe it was some prank. But her heart knew better. The next morning, she woke to find something strange. The front door was slightly open, even though she was sure she'd locked it last night. She stepped outside. There on the porch was a small box wrapped in black paper. There was no name on it. Anna slowly opened it. Inside was a single photo, her sitting beside Mrs. Gray's hospital bed. Someone had taken it from outside the room. Her breath quickened. The message. The photo. The warning. She dropped the box and rushed inside, locking the door. She called the hospital, asking if anyone else had visited that night. The nurse paused, confused. "Only you and the other son?" "Other son?" Anna asked, her voice shaking. "You mean Michael?" "No, ma'am," the nurse replied softly. "The man who came after you left. He said he was Mrs. Gray's son, too." Anna's legs went weak. She hung up the phone, heart pounding in her chest. "Run from my son." The words hit her again, clearer this time. What if Michael wasn't the son Mrs. Gray was warning her about? What if it was someone else? Someone she didn't even know existed? She looked out the window. Across the street, a dark car was parked. A man sat inside, not moving, just watching the house. Anna's fear turned into cold panic. Whatever secret Mrs. Gray had died with was now staring right at her door. The morning sun rose weakly behind thick clouds. Anna hadn't slept all night. Her hand still trembled as she made breakfast for her son. "Sam," Every sound in the house made her jump. The creak of a chair, the hum of the fridge, even the kettle boiling. "Mommy, what's wrong?" Sam asked softly, rubbing his eyes. Anna forced a smile. "Nothing, sweetheart. Just tired." But her mind was racing. The message. The photo. The nurse's words, the other son.
Ow.
None of it made sense. David had never mentioned another brother. He had only told her about Michael. So who was that man? After dropping Sam at school, Anna decided she needed answers. She drove to Mrs. Gray's old house where Michael was staying. The air outside felt heavy, and dark clouds hung low over the roof. The door was slightly open. She called out, "Michael," but no one answered. She stepped inside. The smell of dust and old wood filled the air. Everything looked the same. The pictures on the wall, the old piano, the family photos. But something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. On the table lay a half-open box filled with old letters and photos. Curiosity pulled her closer. The first photo she picked up showed Mrs. Gray holding two babies. One was David, but the other, she didn't recognize. A name was scribbled on the back in faded ink, Eli. Anna frowned. Eli? Who was Eli? Then she noticed something else, a birth certificate, half-torn, with Mrs. Gray's name listed as the mother. But under father, it said, unknown. Anna's heart thudded. So Mrs. Gray had another son, and hid it. She whispered. Just then, the sound of a door creaking made her freeze. She turned quickly. Michael was standing in the hallway, his expression unreadable. "What are you doing here, Anna?" he asked quietly. She held up the photo. "Who is Eli?" His jaw tightened. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he walked closer, slowly. "You shouldn't have come here. Tell me the truth, Michael," she shouted. He stared at her for a long time, then sighed. Mother made mistakes. Things she didn't want the world to know. Eli was her secret. Secret. He nodded. A child she had before marrying my father. She gave him away. No one knew about him. Not even David. Yana's mind spun. Why would she say run from my son then? Who was she talking about? You or Eli? Michael's face darkened. I don't know, he said flatly. But if Eli found her before she died, he didn't finish the sentence. Anna felt a wave of fear. He came to the hospital after I left. The nurse saw him. Michael's eyes widened. Then you're not safe here. Before Anna could reply, there was a loud knock on the door. Both of them froze. Another knock. Harder this time. Michael moved to the window and peeked through the curtain. His face turned pale. It's him. Anna's heart pounded. How do you know? Michael didn't answer. He just whispered, Go to the back door. Take Sam and leave town. Anna stared at him. Michael, what are you not telling me? He turned to her, eyes sharp. You don't understand. Eli isn't just angry. He's dangerous. The knocking turned into loud banging. The door shook under the force. Michael grabbed something from a drawer, a small handgun. Anna gasped. He whispered, Get out now. Anna ran toward the back door, her mind spinning in panic. But before she could open it, she heard the front door burst open with a crash. A man's voice echoed through the house. Calm, cold, Michael. Brother, I've finally found you. Yana's breath caught. She turned slowly. A tall man stepped into the hallway, his clothes soaked from rain, his eyes burning with rage. He looked nothing like Michael, darker, sharper, but there was something familiar in his face, something that reminded her of David, Eli. He looked at Anna and smiled faintly. So you're the one Mother tried to protect. Michael aimed the gun at him. Stay away from her, Eli. Eli laughed softly. After all these years, you still obey her lies. Anna's heart was racing. She didn't know who to believe. In that moment, Eli's eyes locked on hers. She warned you to run, didn't she? He said quietly. But you didn't, and now, you'll learn why, before anyone could move. The lights flickered and went out. The house fell into darkness, and Anna realized the real danger wasn't just outside. It had already found its way in. Asterisk, the sound of the rain outside mixed with the echo of heavy breathing. The lights were gone, and darkness filled every corner of the old house. Anna's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear anything else. Michael's voice came from the shadows. "Anna, stay behind me." But she couldn't see him. Only the faint silhouette of two men, Michael and Eli. Standing face to face in the dim light from the window, Eli's voice broke the silence first. "All these years, brother. And still you think you can protect her?" Michael stepped forward, the gun in his hand trembling slightly. "You should have stayed away, Eli." Eli chuckled, but there was no humor in his tone. "Stay away? After what she did to me? After what she did to us?" Anna's voice shook. "What are you talking about? What did Mrs. Gray do?" Eli turned to her slowly, his eyes full of pain and anger. "She lied. She told the world I never existed. She raised your precious David in comfort, while I grew up in places she'd never dare visit. She left me to rot." Michael spoke through gritted teeth. "Mother was scared." "You scared?" Eli snapped. "No, she was ashamed." The words echoed through the dark house. Anna stood frozen, trying to understand. "So she gave you away?" Eli's eyes softened for a moment. "She didn't just give me away. She sent me to people who hurt me. When I tried to find her years later, she told me never to come back." His voice cracked. "Until last week," Anna's breath caught. "You went to see her?" He nodded slowly. "She finally agreed to meet. But when I walked into that hospital room, she looked terrified. She told me to forgive her. I thought she meant for abandoning me, but now I see she was afraid of something else." Michael tightened his grip on the gun. "Stop lying. You're trying to twist everything." "Mother said," Eli interrupted sharply. "Mother said run for my son, didn't she?" Anna froze. The same words. The same tone? Eli smiled bitterly. "I know what she told you, Anna, but did she ever say which son?" A chill ran down Anna's spine, Eli continued, stepping closer. "She said it because she knew one of us would finish what she started. She couldn't live with her own secret anymore." Michael's voice broke. "You're insane," Eli glared at him. "Am I? Or are you just afraid she finally told the truth?" Suddenly, the light flickered back on. For the first time, Anna saw both brothers clearly, their faces tense, eyes filled with hate and pain. Eli looked exhausted, his clothes soaked, his face pale but determined. Michael's hand shook as he pointed the gun, sweat dripping down his forehead. Anna whispered, "Please stop this. Whatever happened, we can talk." "Talk?" Eli said softly. "Do you even know who your husband really was?" Anna blinked. "What?" Eli looked straight at her. "David wasn't just your husband, Anna. He was my half-brother, and the reason Mother wanted me gone. Because of what he did." Michael shouted, "Don't you dare." But Eli raised his voice. "She found out David had done something terrible. Something that could destroy our family. So she covered it up, sent me away, pretended I never existed." Anna's head spun. "You're lying." "Am I?" Eli stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Did you ever wonder how David's car crashed that night? Or why no one ever investigated?" Michael's expression hardened. "Enough." Eli's voice dropped to a whisper. "He didn't die in that accident. You know that, don't you, brother?" Anna's heart stopped. "What do you mean?" Michael didn't answer. His hand shook violently. Eli smirked sadly. "Tell her, Michael. Tell her where David really is." For a long moment, silence filled the room. The ticking clock felt louder than ever. Then Michael spoke softly. "He's gone, Eli. Because of you." Eli's face twisted in disbelief. "No, that's not true." Michael aimed the gun again. "You killed him. And you'll never touch her or Sam." Anna gasped. "Sam?" Eli's voice broke into a whisper. "She doesn't know, does she?" Michael fired a warning shot. "Don't say another word." Eli's eyes filled with tears. "He's not David's son, Anna. He's mine." The gun went off. Anna screamed. The sound echoed through the house as the rain outside turned into a storm. And in that single, deafening moment, Every truth Mrs. Gray had tried to hide came crashing down. The gunshot echoed through the old house like thunder. For a moment, everything froze. The rain outside, the flickering lights, even the air itself. Anna screamed and dropped to her knees. Smoke filled the room, the smell of gunpowder sharp in her nose. When her vision cleared, she saw Michael on the floor, clutching his shoulder, blood seeping through his shirt. The gun had slipped from his hand. Eli stood still, breathing hard, his face pale and eyes wide. I didn't mean to. Anna crawled toward Michael, her hands trembling. Oh my God, Michael. He groaned in pain. Go. Anna, get out. But she couldn't move. Her mind was spinning too fast. Sam isn't David's son. He's mine. Those words echoed again and again. She turned to Eli, her voice shaking. What did you mean? What did you just say? Eli's lips trembled. You think David was your hero, don't you? But you never really knew him. Michael tried to speak, his voice weak. Don't listen to him. Eli ignored him. David wasn't the man you thought he was. He hurt people, Anna. He hurt me. That's why Mother sent me away. She wanted to protect him and protect you from the truth. Anna shook her head, tears falling fast. You're lying. Eli's eyes softened. No, I wish I was. He took a deep breath. Years ago, before you married him, David found out about me. He found out I was his mother's secret son, and he hated me for it. He said I would ruin his perfect life. When I tried to reach out to him, he turned on me. Na's chest tightened. That can't be true. David loved his family. Eli's voice dropped. Did he? Then tell me, Anna, why did he come to see me the night before his car accident? Michael's face twisted in pain. Stop, Eli. Don't. Eli turned toward him. She deserves to know. Anna looked from one brother to the other, her heart pounding. What happened that night? Eli's voice trembled. David came to my house. He said Mother had told him everything. He was drunk. Angry. He said, I was nothing but a mistake. We fought. He hit me, said he'd make sure I disappeared again. Tears rolled down Eli's cheeks. He got in his car and drove away. I followed him. I wanted to stop him, to make him listen. But the rain was heavy, and his car lost control on the bridge. It crashed into the river. Anna covered her mouth. Gasping, Eli whispered, I jumped in to save him, but he was already gone. Michael groaned. That's not the whole truth. Eli looked at him, eyes burning. Tell her then.
Michaels.
You didn't just follow him, Eli. You chased him. You scared him? You wanted revenge? Eli shook his head violently. No, I tried to save him. Anna looked between them, her mind spinning. So who's telling the truth? Michael's voice was barely a whisper now. Mother knew what really happened. That's why she warned you. She knew Eli wasn't finished. Eli stared at him with fury. She warned her because she wanted to control everything, even from the grave. You think I'm the monster, but she made me this way. The house went silent again, except for the rain tapping the windows. Anna stood up slowly, her voice breaking. Enough. Both of you. Her hands were shaking, her heart aching. I don't care about the past. I just want my son safe. At the mention of Sam, Eli's eyes softened. Anna, I didn't lie about that. David wasn't his real father. No. She froze. No. Eli's voice was quiet now. You and I, we met once years ago. Before you even knew David, you didn't remember me. But I remembered you. Anna stared at him, horrified. You're saying... He nodded. Sam is my blood. Anna felt dizzy. No, that can't be. Michael groaned in pain. He's manipulating you, Anna. Don't believe him. Eli's voice cracked. Why would I lie now? Look at me. I have nothing left to lose. The sound of sirens echoed faintly in the distance. Someone must have called the police. Eli looked toward the window, panic flashing in his eyes. They'll never understand. They'll think I'm a killer. He turned to Anna one last time, his voice trembling. Take care of him. Take care of our son, before she could stop him. Eli ran out the back door into the storm. Anna screamed his name, but the night swallowed her voice. The rain poured harder, washing away the blood on the floor, and with it, the last pieces of the life she thought she knew. Asterisk, the rain had stopped by morning. But the house still carried the smell of fear. The police cars stood outside, the red lights flashing silently across the wet road. Anna sat on the couch, her hands still shaking. A blanket covered her shoulders, but she couldn't feel its warmth. Michael was taken to the hospital. His wound wasn't fatal, but his spirit seemed broken. 2 detectives stood before her. One of them, a calm older man, spoke softly. "Mrs. Gray, we need you to tell us everything that happened." Anna's throat was dry. "It all happened so fast," she said quietly. "There were 2 brothers, Michael and Eli. And then the gun." The detective nodded slowly. "We've searched the woods behind the house. We found footprints, but the rain washed most of them away." "We'll keep looking," Anna didn't reply. Her mind wasn't with the police. It was somewhere else in the past. Eli's final words echoed in her mind. "Take care of him. Take care of our son." Her heart ached. Was it true? Could Sam really be Eli's son? The thought made her chest tighten. She looked at a framed photo on the table, David smiling with his arm around her. Everything she thought was true now felt like a lie. Later that afternoon, Anna went to the hospital to see Michael. He was lying in bed, pale but awake. When he saw her, he smiled weakly. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered. "I had to," she said softly. "I need the truth, Michael. All of it." He looked away. Eli was dangerous. "You saw what he did. But was he lying?" she asked. "About David? About Sam?" Michael was silent for a long time. Finally, he said no. He wasn't lying about everything. Anna's heart sank. Michael sighed heavily. "David, he made mistakes. Mother covered for him. There was an accident years ago before he met you. A woman got hurt because of him. That's why Mother sent Eli away. She thought if one son disappeared, the other could live clean." Anna stared at him, tears filling her eyes. "So she blamed the wrong son," Michael nodded slowly. "And when Eli came back, she was terrified her secret would destroy us all." Anna's voice broke. "She warned me to run, but she never said who from. She didn't have time," Michael whispered. "But maybe she meant from both of us." Those words hit harder than any bullet. That night, after leaving the hospital, Anna walked home in silence. The air was cold and heavy with fog. When she reached her house, she saw a small envelope slipped under the door. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single photo, little Sam, playing in the park. On the back, written in shaky handwriting, were the words, "He's safe because you believed." Anna's breath caught. "Eli." She ran outside, looking down the empty street, but there was no one there. Only the distant sound of the wind through the trees. Tears streamed down her face. "Eli," she whispered, "where are you?" For the first time in days, she felt something other than fear. She felt sorrow and understanding. Weeks passed. The police never found Eli. Some said he fled the country. Others believed he died in the forest that night. But Anna knew in her heart he was alive, somewhere watching. Life slowly returned to a fragile normal. Michael recovered, but chose to move away, unable to face the ghosts of the past. One evening, Anna sat in Sam's room, watching him draw by the window. He looked up and smiled. "Mommy, I dreamed about a man. He said he loves you and me." Kanna's hand froze. "What did he look like?" Sam thought for a moment. "He had eyes like mine." Her chest tightened. "What did he say, sweetheart?" Sam smiled innocently. "He said, 'Don't be scared. I'm watching over you.'" A tear rolled down Anna's cheek. She pulled him close, whispering, "I know, my love. I know." Outside, the wind blew softly, carrying a whisper through the trees, gentle, almost like a goodbye. And for the first time in a long time, Anna didn't feel afraid because she finally understood what Mrs. Gray had meant that night in the hospital. It wasn't just a warning. It was a plea. A plea to protect the only innocent soul left in a story built on secrets and blood, as Anna turned off the lights and kissed Sam goodnight. She looked out the window one last time, in the mist beyond the garden, for just a second. She thought she saw a shadow, tall, still, watching, and then it was gone. But she smiled, because some ghosts don't come to haunt. They come to guard.